It is a Friday evening, and Priya is standing in a department store holding a jacket she does not need, has not planned to buy, and cannot genuinely afford given the credit card balance she has been carrying since January. And she knows all of this with complete clarity in the rational part of her mind, and she buys the jacket anyway. And the interesting thing is not that she bought it, but what happens in the 20 minutes after. Because Priya is not reckless or irresponsible or bad with money in any meaningful sense. She has a budget she built herself on a Saturday morning with genuine intention. She has read 2 books about personal finance. She understands compound interest. She knows what she is supposed to be doing, and she still bought the jacket. And she will feel a specific kind of shame about it later that evening that most people who struggle financially know intimately. The shame of knowing better and doing differently anyway. The sensation of being somehow at war with yourself around money, of understanding the right thing and being mysteriously unable to consistently do it. And what Priya does not know, what almost nobody in the personal finance space will tell you honestly, is that this war she is experiencing is not a character flaw, and it is not a willpower problem, and it is not evidence that she is somehow broken. It is evidence that her brain is working exactly the way evolution designed it to work, in a financial environment that evolution never anticipated. The human brain was not designed for the financial decisions of the modern world, because for the vast majority of human evolutionary history, there were no financial decisions to make in the modern sense. There was food, and there was no food. There was safety, and there was danger. There was a resource available right now, and a potential resource that might be available later. And the brain that survived and reproduced was the brain that prioritized the immediate and certain over the delayed and uncertain. Because in the ancestral environment, a bird in hand was genuinely worth more than 2 in the bush, since you might not live to collect the 2 in the bush. And this deeply wired preference for immediate reward over future reward, for certain small gains over uncertain larger gains, for loss avoidance over equivalent gains, is not a bug in your psychological operating system. It is the core feature that kept your ancestors alive long enough to become your ancestors. And it is also the precise mechanism that the modern consumer economy, the credit industry, the marketing industry, and the retail environment have all been meticulously designed to exploit, not through malicious conspiracy, but through the simple economics of what works. Because what works is giving people's ancient brains exactly what they were designed to want. The first mechanism is called present bias, which is the technical name for the brain's tendency to overvalue what is available right now relative to what will be available in the future. And the mathematics of this distortion are measurable and consistent, because when researchers offer people a choice between $10 today and $11 tomorrow, most people choose $10 today, even though waiting 24 hours for a 10% return is an extraordinary financial decision by any rational standard. And this same bias is what makes the jacket feel more real and more valuable than the abstract future benefit of the money staying in savings, because the jacket exists in the present, where your brain lives, and the savings benefit exists in the future, where your brain does not naturally assign full weight. And every retail environment on Earth is designed around this exact bias, from the placement of products to the architecture of sales to the existence of credit itself, which is simply a mechanism for collapsing future money into present consumption. The second mechanism is loss aversion, which describes the well-documented finding that the psychological pain of losing something is approximately twice as powerful as the psychological pleasure of gaining the equivalent thing, meaning that losing $20 feels roughly twice as bad as finding $20 feels good. And this asymmetry creates a specific kind of financial paralysis, where people avoid making investment decisions because the possibility of loss feels more real and more threatening than the equivalent possibility of gain. And it also explains why people hold on to bad financial positions long after the rational decision would be to exit them, because selling an investment at a loss makes the loss feel permanent and real in a way that holding it does not, even when holding it is the objectively worse financial decision. The third mechanism is social comparison, which is the brain's continuous and largely unconscious monitoring of its position relative to the people around it. Because in the ancestral environment, your status relative to your immediate social group had direct consequences for your survival and reproduction. And this monitoring system did not switch off when human beings moved into a consumer economy. It simply redirected itself toward the visible markers of status that the modern world provides, which means that your brain is running a continuous background program comparing your car to your neighbor's car, your house to your colleague's house, your visible lifestyle to the lifestyle you observe in the people around you and in the media you consume. And this program generates real psychological discomfort when it detects a gap. And that discomfort is what the marketing industry calls aspiration, and what the neuroscience literature calls social pain. And it is a genuinely powerful driver of spending decisions that have nothing to do with what you actually need or what serves your long-term financial interests.